Who we want to thank.
Any comment on the document, sir?
President Biden ignoring questions about classified documents found in a private office he used after serving as vice president. The papers were discovered in a locked closet just days before the midterms. The administration says the White House is cooperating with the National Archives and the Department of Justice regarding the discovery of what appear to be Obama-Biden administration records, including a small number of documents with classified markings. The documents were discovered when the president's personal attorneys were packing files housed in a locked closet to prepare to vacate office space at the Penn Biden Center in Washington, D.C. So let's bring in Karl Rove because, well, sounds a little similar, Karl?
Well, there are differences, but you can't make this stuff up. But there are differences. For example, how many documents? In Biden's case, there appear to be about 10. In the case of President Trump, hundreds. How did they get there? We don't yet know how the documents got to the Biden office connected with his activities on behalf of the University of Pennsylvania. We know that President Trump ordered the removal of the documents to Mar-a-Lago. How responsive were they when the Biden people found out about it? They immediately called the appropriate authorities and turned them over. We spent a year and a half watching the drama unfold in Mar-a-Lago, and it had to end in a police search to recover the documents. But still, despite the differences, this is going to create lots of headaches for the Department of Justice in deciding how to handle President Trump's issues, because now they have an issue that, at least in the minds of a lot of ordinary Americans, are going to be conflated as being roughly the same.
Yep.
That's why I think they did a smart thing in turning this over to the U.S. Attorney in Chicago to look at initially, because that's one of the two remaining Trump-appointed U.S. attorneys left in the Justice Department. That in the Delaware U.S. attorney is looking into Hunter Biden. But this strikes me as being very problematic for the Biden Justice Department.
This is what he said in September of just last year, a few months ago, on 60 Minutes.
How that could possibly happen, how anyone could be that irresponsible. And I thought, what data was in there that may compromise sources and methods? By that I mean names of people who helped, or et cetera. And it's just totally irresponsible.
Well, I don't know how he changes his tune now, but we'll find out when he chooses to answer it. Meanwhile, Karl, there's another story that broke yesterday. 6 years later, after the election of 2016, we get a report suggesting that all the Russian trolls had zero impact on the outcome of the election of 2016. 6 years later.
Yeah, really interesting study done by a group of academics looking at one social media channel. So it's not everybody, but yeah, this confirms sort of what we said, or what many people thought, which was that the impact of the Russian-sponsored attempt to influence the election on the internet was minimal and had really no significance. Let's be careful though, because going forward, the thing about the efforts of our adversaries to undermine American democracy, they don't stand still. So they have probably long ago looked at what they did and concluded they needed to do more and different things in order to affect the outcome of our election. And we better be ready for that next time around, because if we can study it and find out that they were ineffective, they can study it and find out they were ineffective. And they do want to be effective. The Russians, the Chinese, the North Koreans, other non-state actors want to affect American democracy, and they'll be coming back in some way, shape, or form in the future. The other thing that was not said in the report that I thought was interesting, Bill, was, look, we know, looking at what they did, that their object was to discombobulate both sides. This was to sort of undermine not just Republicans, but also undermine Democrats, and not only undermine, not only attempt to stir up animosity among Republicans, but stir up animosity among Democrats as well. So it'll be interesting to get a more fulsome understanding of how all of those efforts work.
Yeah, and you make a great point about coming back again. Karl, thank you so much. You will come back again very soon. Thank you, Karl. Nice to see you down in Austin, Texas.
You bet.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.